All right, I'm here to talk about two-factor authentication. So let me ask you this: how many of you already use two-factor authentication in Google right now?
Oh man, I am so lame.
All right, so my presentation is short, but it's a very easy way to show you the reasons that you should be using this now and how to set that up. It's pretty straightforward, and my goal is to have everyone here using it and going and having their friends using it, everybody. So, quick overview. Just to kind of explain what exactly is two-factor authentication. It basically requires 2 of 3 of the following. So the first thing it requires, this is the kind of a traditional definition, is something the user knows. So that could be a password, PIN, pattern, so something that they know, but that's all it is. The second thing it requires is something the user has. So this is an item. This is something that they actually have with them on their presence, which, again, these are examples of something the user would actually have. And the third piece that is often required is something the user is. And so that is, again, biometrics. Example of that. So, most everyone probably here uses Gmail, or has enough people who use Gmail, and so we'll just jump into how easy it is to set that up in Gmail. So first, this is without two-factor authentication. If you didn't have it set up, you would log in, type in your username and password, and you would be right into your Gmail, and that poses problems for a lot of reasons. And here's one reason: is this is actually just released. There was a study that says that every single standard Windows password could be cracked in 6 hours. So again,
and that's a service they sell. You can send them hashes and they'll crack them.
So for educational purposes only.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So again, from this
I'm gonna throw up.
to this.
Coming up.
Sorry. So again, there should be a little. So two-factor provides an extra layer of security so that you don't go straight from simply entering a password to your account. And so it's extremely easy to turn on. It's no-brainer. You basically go to accounts.google.com, and on the sidebar you see a little security tab, and you click on settings, and it will guide you through turning it on. And I'll show you how it works, but it's basically that simple. You just go to accounts.google.com and you click the little settings button and set it up. So once you set it up and turn it on, and I'll explain how it works in a second, is basically instead of going straight to Gmail, if your password was compromised, you won't be in trouble because you will be prompted to go to a second piece of authentication. And how that works is like this. You basically set up your phone and you get a token. And so once you set this up the first time, then you set up your phone, which is something the user has. And every time the first time you log in, which you can actually do, you're not logging in every time with both pieces, is your phone gets a token, and you must provide this as a second piece of information. So if your password was compromised, you're still, as long as your actual phone wasn't compromised, so if you have your phone on you, there's no way that your account was, that you're at risk. The second thing they offer is also a kind of an alternative. If you don't have a phone or you don't have your phone with you, you can also print off some extra codes, carry on your wallet or whatever, some secure place. And this provides an alternative that's that second piece of authentication. So again, something the user has. And so the other piece to this is that some login mechanisms don't accept two-factor authentication right now. For example, if you were to set mail up on your phone, there's no way to enter a second piece of authentication, so you can generate something called application-specific passwords. So you just go to, same thing, you go to accounts.google.com, and you can generate a specific password for each service you use. And just dump that password in once, and that is the alternative if, again, you're logging to a service that doesn't accept two-factor authentication.
And those are revocable?
Yes, these are revocable. Yep, they're independent for each. You can create as many as you want for each service you use, and they are revocable at any time. And finally, this is basically a list of services that are currently using two-factor authentication, two-factor verification in some way, shape, or form right now. And again, it's as easy as that. It was Gmail to set this up. You go into somewhere in the settings page. Usually on all of these pages, you do a Google search for any service here, two-factor authentication, and you'll see the instructions. It's really easy to set up, and there's no reason not to do it. So I put a lot of people either excuses like I'm lazy or haven't got around to it, but I just wanted to show you it's that easy. There's accounts deductible.com, and there's no reason that you shouldn't do it. And once you've done that, you are a lot more secure, and you're no longer at risk of having your password compromised, basically losing your access to your entire account. So that's all I got. And
Fantastic.
Alright, I have a few questions.
yeah.
First off, when you use two-factor authentication with Xbox, does it text your parents?
Well, so the Xbox right now, Xbox Live is actually not as sophisticated. It's just a second email, so it's more two-factor verification. So it sends you an email with a token and or a key or some sort of hash password. I haven't actually used it on Xbox. It's basically it's not as sophisticated as the brands out there.
Yeah. My second question is, Google allows open authentication protocols in order to actually communicate with their services and allow things, gives you API keys, stuff like that. Have you become familiar with any ways to force two-factor authentication to be part of that process for sites that want to use Google authentication but want to make sure that these people are doing the best they can to protect their own security?
I haven't actually. That's a good question. The way to force the use of two-factor verification. Actually, that's a good question. I'm not sure. I know that the actual Google Authenticator, the iPhone app, and the backend system is actually open source. It's like Dropbox, for example. That's something that you either have the phone with the token generator is actually the same Google app. So you could actually pull open that same app, and it will show the token-based keys for all your accounts. So other services like again Dropbox, at least I know, maybe some of the others actually use the same iPhone app that Google uses because it's an open source project.